All right, so this evening I've been working on installing the oven into the island here, and you can see I've got the entire cutout done at this point. So it's now large enough to receive the oven, which is waiting patiently over there in the corner of the family room. Next step on this is to go ahead and build the base. So I've got to use 2x4s and some 3/4 inch plywood to build the base platform that the oven actually sits on. It doesn't actually mount to the cabinet per se. It sits on the platform, and that carries most of the weight, if not all the weight. So that's that. I got a pile of parts over here ready to install some outlets inside of the cavities here. One for this 220 for the oven, one over here, house current for the microwave, and then we're going to do some outlets underneath the island bar on both sides here to plug in appliances. So that's what all that stuff is waiting on. Right now though, I'm working on finishing up the sink and the dishwasher. And yeah, the sink's out again. Reason being is I had to do some work over here to prep this area for final installation. So we had to do the outlet, and then I had to swap out the supply valve. When I put the supply valve in there, I forgot to account for the supply line for the dishwasher on the hot side there. So I had to get a T-style shark bite valve that actually has two 3/8 valves built into one. So that's going to supply the hot water for the faucet on one end and the dishwasher on the other end. I just finished installing the supply line, and you can see underneath here there's a brass elbow that adapts from basically the garden hose fitting. It's 5/8 female thread there, or a male thread. So basically it adapts that to a 3/8 braided supply line. The drain line came factory installed. It's got a rubber end on the other side there that clips to our disposal, and then just plugged in the power cord on the other side there. All that runs through this loop, and then all that gets fed into this hole in the bottom of the base cabinet and goes in here. So all this stuff is just easier to access with the sink out of the way, so that's why it's currently sitting on the floor instead of where it was the other day. Hey, hon.
Hey.
How's it going?
I'm done spraying paint.
Amber's been upstairs in our paint booth slash bonus room, and she's been spraying some trim tonight.
Next to the last batch is finished.
Yay! How exciting is that?
It's great.
You've been a painting machine during this project. You painted most of this house.
I'm covered.
Your dad's helped quite a bit, but yeah, you've been a painting machine. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
So just finishing up the dishwasher here, just telling the fine folks at home what's going on with that, and got all the supplies and everything hooked up. So we're going to go ahead and get the wire and the supplies and the drain and everything fed through the hole over there and shove the dishwasher in place, and then we'll make our connections inside the cabinet there.
Perfect.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can give me a hand sliding that back in there. All right, we got the dishwasher in position, and then once it was slid in and all the lines and everything were pulled into the cabinet, I used the adjusting feet to bring it up pretty much even with the top of the cabinets. We're supposed to, get our countertops templated tomorrow, and then once the countertops have been installed, we can go ahead and do a final adjustment on the leveling. But they do recommend that your top of your dishwasher is snugged up against your countertop. Not, tight, but snug. And that's one of the things that keeps your dishwasher from falling out in the floor. There's also some safety clips that go on the side, and those will get screwed to the face of the cabinet once the final install is done. Down in the back here, you can see where we pulled the lines through. There's the power supply wire, the drain line, and the braided supply line. And I'll get all those hooked up later on once I've actually finished installing the sink and everything. This piece of plastic right here was actually hanging on the back of the dishwasher, and it was holding the lines and everything up out of the way when it was packaged. But they actually tell you to cut off this top part here that's got the hook on it, and then use the rest of it to hook your drain line to the back of your cabinet. So they actually recommend looping the drain line up and then back down, and then goes into your either your disposal or your P-trap. Reason being, unless you have that or an air gap, you can get some backflow of drain water, out of your disposal back into your dishwasher. So this acts as a brake, and it prevents that from flowing back into your dishwasher. So anyways, I'll actually cut that piece off and screw that on before I put the sink back in there. One less thing to have to worry about once the sink's in place. So once I do that, then I can go ahead and set the sink back in here one more time, and then I'm gonna unbox the disposal. We got an InSinkErator Evolution Space Saver XP. Pretty fancy. It's not the top of the line, but it's a pretty decent unit. I'm sure it's going to be quieter than our circa 1970 model in our other house, which is also an InSinkErator, but it's still trucking, so can't complain. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that hung off the sink, and we'll go ahead and get the rest of the lines and everything hooked up once I get that in place. So let me hoist this big pig of a sink back up in there and get things realigned, and then we'll start reassembling. Okay, so I wrestled the sink back into position and got everything leveled up, looking good, got the spacing right. It's fitting really well. So just a matter of getting the countertops measured, get them glued down, and this thing will be rock solid. I just double checked all my measurements on the cabinets, double checked the fit of the dishwasher, and made sure everything was level end to end. That way when the counters arrive, we're not having any issues there. Just started the installation of the disposal. I've got the mounting flange stuck in the opening there in the sink. Got some plumber's putty here. Had to get some of this today. Mine had dried out a long time ago. I don't use plumber's putty a whole lot. But for setting a sink drain like this, it works perfectly, especially in a sink like this. So picked up a new thing of Odie plumber's putty there, maybe about a 1/2-inch snake, and wrap that around the inside of the flange. So I'm getting ready to install the rest of the mounting collar. Got several pieces here that go on. You've got a fiber gasket and then this mounting plate. And the mounting plate is what this adjuster plate presses against. And then there's a spring clip that kind of holds everything together. And then there's some bolts there that screw into the threaded holes on this adjustable plate there. Now this plate's got these wings on there, and the disposal actually just threads onto that thing. So it kind of makes it a quick release if you should ever have to take it off for some reason, or if this one takes a dump and you got to replace it. Basically it's like a quarter turn or a half turn. You just spin it off and spin the new one on. So supposedly that makes it easier. Hopefully I'll never have to change it out, but if I have to, maybe that'll make life a little easier. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the mounting collar and everything assembled and get it snugged down, but not too snug because I don't want to break this thing. And then we'll hang the disposal. So I was just working under the sink there, trying to get the disposal mounted, and heard this boom and felt a shaking in the floor. And I thought a tree had fallen on the house. I mean, it's pouring the rain out here right now. But no, it was a big rock. Big rock. Came down off the hillside up there. We'd lost a piece of it earlier. I don't know, it's been a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. A piece of this rock had broken off. It jutted out from the hill up there beautifully. I mean, it was gorgeous. And, we loved the rock because we thought, oh man, look at the water trickling off of it. It's beautiful. And a big chunk broke off. We're like, oh, how disappointing. Well, the rest of it came down tonight. Holy crap. I'm so glad that it didn't like launch over and hit the house or something. I think it just kind of slid down and kind of jumped up over these other rocks. I don't think it cartwheeled. I think it just kind of rolled over or slid over and hit the edge of the wall and dropped off. And then this chunk, broke off and hit the ground. But holy crap. I mean, you could feel it in the house. Hopefully it didn't crack the patio. Good grief. It's always an adventure around this place. All right, I'm going back inside before something else falls off the hill. All right, so the InSinkErator is mounted. Got the power cord put on and the tailpipe extension and all that good stuff. And then the mounting collar just kind of indexes with that piece that we already mounted to the sink itself. And then use the wrench that's included there. Call it the jam breaker wrench. Use that, you put it in one of the ears on the collar up underneath here. Let's see, there you go. You can see one of the ears there. Put the wrench in that, and then you use that to twist the collar, and that locks it in on the mounting flange that we already installed. So everything is good to go. It's ready to get plugged in and fired up here. Of course, getting a little ahead of ourselves. We still don't have a faucet or our drain line or anything else hooked up, but we're getting close. So now that we got that in there, I can go ahead and make our final connection on the drain line for the dishwasher. That gets plugged into the InSinkErator, and then I'll go ahead and put my trap together, get that finished. That goes back here into this 1.5 inch waistline, and then that's pretty much it for this part until we get the countertops installed. Once that goes on, then we can go ahead and make our final connections there for our faucet. That'll get installed in the countertop itself. Obviously, since it's a farm sink, there's no mounting a faucet to this kind of sink, obviously. But that's going to wrap it up for the evening. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. It's after midnight. I got to work tomorrow. But you can see the kitchen is really coming together. Can't wait to get that oven in there. That's going to make it look fantastic. And really get this thing completed. I cannot wait to see the countertops and have this entire thing done. It's going to look incredible. Still have to do our under cabinet lighting, and we got to do our backsplash and everything in behind the range here. But we're getting there. We're so close. We got about 3 weeks until we move in, actually. So major time crunch. As soon as I get done with this kitchen stuff, I'm going to move on to finishing up all the rest of the trim. You can see I got a massive pile of baseboard and other stuff here. That's that's waiting on me to get this kitchen done. So I'm going to keep cranking on this kitchen until I can get that wrapped up. Hopefully get most of that knocked out tomorrow evening after work, and then be done with that for a little while.